This is Chris Holcomb again. Welcome to another episode of Chris Holcomb TV. Pretty much what I want to do is talk about really not a gold mine, and it's a sector that's really drying up in real estate markets, and also for potential homeowners that want to buy property at a discounted price, which is the short sale. Pretty much short sales, especially around Detroit, has been going rapid in the last probably 2 years, 3 years at the most. And a lot of people are leaving their properties, short selling them if they can find a buyer. Pretty much some have, quote unquote, sold them to themselves in the long run. So pretty much a short sale is still a viable option. It's just not as fast paced. Plus, laws have changed regarding paying the taxes of the sale of the property, which comes back to the person who's selling the property, which is the seller. So pretty much I don't think it's going to be as popular as it is, and a lot of real estate investors doesn't deal with it because of the time it takes. So overall, a short sale is if you're in a mortgage, let's say your mortgage is $80,000 and you're in a 30-year mortgage, and your property value has decreased and your principal doesn't match up. So your property is only worth market value, let's say 30. So you're paying 60 and it's worth 30. In your ideology, which makes perfectly sense across the board, is this property is not worth that. Why am I paying a $600 or $700 note for a property that's not even worth that value anymore, and I couldn't even sell it for that? So a lot of people, after the recession and down the market in real estate, look to walk away from their property, which is foreclosing. When you foreclose, you just walk away. They put it on your credit, and you take a major hit. But probably within 4 or 5 years, maybe, if you got a good credit repair and you know how to work through all the yellow tape, you probably can get your credit back to go ahead and purchase a property, and get it as maybe removed off your credit report. But I'm not a credit repair guy, so I can't really speak on that. Now, a short sale is saying in that same scenario that I want to sell my property. I talked to the mortgage company, I hardship, I can't afford it anymore, and I'm looking to sell it. But I know it's not going to be of market value, or at least the value that I got a mortgage for. So I'm going to try to sell it for whatever the market said is worth, which is short selling it, because you're selling it for a shorter amount than it is worth. And usually, as long as you can find a buyer that's lined up to buy the property and the bank will approve it, then you can sell it for that. Now, yes, you'll take a hit on your credit, not as I've heard and have experienced with other people, it's not as a heavy hit as a foreclosure. So you will be able to sell the property for a shorter amount, smaller amount, let's be real, smaller amount, and you'll be able to walk away scot-free and go ahead and purchase another property, sort of, kind of. Sometimes that doesn't happen either, depends on how bad your credit is hit. Secondly, with a short sale, it takes time, because once you find a buyer, you still got to go through the process of submitting a short sale package. Then you have to get it approved, and then once you get it approved, then they negotiate with the buyer, because let's say it's worth 30 and he say, I'm only gonna give you 25, and they say we want 42. So it goes back and forth until they finally hopefully come to a agreement on what they want to purchase the property for. So with that being said, that's how a short sale works. Now, during that duration, it could take 6 months, it could take 6 weeks, it could take 90 days. It all depends, and it's been dependent on the banks. Some banks are ready to get rid of those properties. Some are not really in a escalated, time-sensitive situation, so they hold on and take their sweet time pretty much to closing the deal. So those are the variables in there, and that's why a lot of investors do not deal with it. And now with that situation of the law passing, where the person who sells the property, which may be the one that's selling it for 30 when it's worth 60, they wanted you to pay those tax differences, which if I'm selling the property, I almost can't afford any of it, so why would I do that? And I think that's because, especially during the time in the last couple of years, people have been walking away, selling a house, and then going down and getting a land contract down the street for a house in the same. Probably an upgrade, in fact. Or they've short-sold it and then turn around, especially if they didn't have a document you signed that said that you won't buy the property back. A lot of times I think that element wasn't in that dealing when they close, so they'll go back and buy the property back from whoever buys it from. So really, they're just reducing their principal, getting the property at a lower price and owning it. And home ownership to me is not bad, especially if you got a 30-year mortgage. You're not promised a job for 30 years, so it really doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. But we do it anyway because credit and everything else is beneficial. But a lot of times we get leverage. But that's a whole different video for a whole another day. So right now, people are short selling, but not at the rapid rate they were before. A lot of people are just walking away. So short selling to me is a great option because if you got time to wait, you can get a price at a great discount, a price that people are living in. So rehab is going to be less because it's already lived in property, so it's already moved in ready. They're probably taking care of the property because it is their property until they move out. So it's a great process to do. It's just time consuming, and a lot of people don't like to deal with that. I think that's pretty much really the only downer with the short sale. And a lot of times the banks may not approve of it and they want more money, and then that causes more issues with you negotiating back and forth. So there's a lot of red tape you have to go through. So besides that, for homeowners, I think it's a great option because you will getting a property as a discount as an investor is great. You just got to be willing to deal with the timing. That's going to be a variation. It's not going to be 90 days all the time. It's not going to be 6 months. It could be a year. Depends on the banks. So in a nutshell, short sale is good, but it's a gamble, but it's worth it in the long run. So if you, like I say, just want to explain that to a lot of people because it's been a very hot topic in the last couple of years. I think it's winding down now, but to me it's still a viable option because if you set your structure just to do short sales, you can be very successful at it. You just got to be able to have your money and your holding costs in order, and if you don't have any of that, then you're even in a better position. So also when you buy those properties, they prefer cash. Let's be honest. They're not going to give you your house and someone else getting a mortgage to buy it, unless it's a high-end property. And a lot of times, short sales vary in that. I haven't dealt with that, but most of the average, medium-level properties, they're more open to people who's buying it cash. And let's be honest, cash is still king. So in a nutshell, that's my topic of short sales. If you guys got any to add, anybody's an expert on that, definitely leave a comment. If you like the video, as always. Subscribe if you think you want to see some great other videos, and if you don't think that, check it out anyway. As always, I'll catch you guys on the next video, and I appreciate your time. Y'all have a good day.